Hey guys, deadbydawn93 here, back once again for another review, and the movie that I'm going to be reviewing is probably, in my opinion, one of the best horror movies over the past 10 years, 12 years, whatever, but it is the 2009 film Orphan. And like I said, this movie is probably one of the best new modern horror films that have come out recently. I actually just watched it, and I want to go ahead and give my review. I know that this movie's been out for a really long time, but honestly, this movie took me a long time to see this movie. I actually only watched it once, and that was a few months ago. So yeah. So I pretty much I've heard so many people talk about this movie. You know, I've heard it was amazing. I've heard so many things about it. So of course I knew I had to get it eventually. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into the review. Basically, what the film is about is a couple who has recently lost their third child. The mother was pregnant, and she ended up losing her child. And so what they have decided to do was to adopt another a little girl. They already have two children. They have a boy named Danny and a little girl named Max, who is actually deaf. And she actually plays an important role in the film. But basically, what they do is that they go to this orphanage, which is run by this nun, and you know, they're looking through all the children and everything like that. And while they're there, the father hears a little girl singing, and it actually leads him upstairs into a room where he meets Esther. And basically, you know, he's drawn to her because she's really good at painting and drawing, and you know, she's Russian, so she has a really thick Russian accent, but she's very polite and very mature for her age. She says, you know, oh hey, good day, you know, and things like that. And you know, and she dresses like the way an older woman would dress, kind of how would I describe it? I'm not sure how you would describe the kind, but she dresses very maturely and everything like that. And so of course the father really likes her. The mother likes her as well, and so they end up adopting her and taking her home. And you know, right away, you know, she has a sort of a liking to the father. The father seems to really like her. Of course the mother does too, but not as much as the father seems to. The mother is actually really good at playing piano, and she actually, Esther, you know, wants to learn how to play, so of course the mother says, sure, I'll teach you how to play. And yeah, basically nothing really happens within the first 15 minutes. Of course there's sort of a sibling rivalry, I can't speak today. Older brother really doesn't like Esther that much. You know, his friends at school make fun of him because of how she dresses and everything. Of course, you know, there's that jealousy thing that the older brother has when the parents of course start giving Esther all the attention, and you know, he sort of goes off by himself. He has a tree house where he sort of goes off with his friends. Of course, as Esther begins school, she's already typecast as an outcast. There's this one girl in her class that makes fun of her constantly, and you know, she really, of course, she feels alienated. There's a lot of sort of weird thing about her. She carries around this really old Bible, and that's where she keeps, you know, certain things. And it also, she wears this sort of a band around her neck and around her arm, and no one's really sure why. And the nun at the orphanage actually said, you know, we never had problems with her. She's very well mannered, but unless of course we try to take those bands off of her, in which case she does get she gets very angry at it. And at one point, the girl that bullies her actually does try to do it and causes Esther to sort of have a fit in school. Well, you know, the movie, I guess you could say, is a bit of a slow build, but that's one thing I really enjoyed about it, was that it didn't just, you know, jump right into everything. It sort of was a bit of a slow build. The movie does start off with a bit of a creepy scene. The mother actually is having nightmares about losing her child and of how her child is being born dead. And a lot of those scenes are pretty, that scene is pretty creepy. And you later find out the mother's actually had a problem with alcohol in the past, and that sort of plays a role later on in the film, like I said. But the first 15 minutes, nothing really major happens, and I think I like that. It really builds character development, and you begin to sort of care about the characters, get to know them. But the first major thing that happens is she's actually at a playground with the father and the little girl Max, and she ends up finding the girl that makes fun of her and pushes her off the top of this long slide, and she falls and she breaks her leg. And that was sort of like the first major thing that happens. And then as the movie goes on, it just goes right into downward spiral. The mother, of course, notices certain things about Esther. Like at one point, you actually find out that she actually is really good at piano. So Esther's actually been lying to the mother about not knowing how to play piano. Another thing is the mother and father are about to end up. Well, the husband and wife, I should call them, which aren't really the mother and father of Esther, but the husband and wife are actually about to have sex right in the middle of the kitchen, which is a pretty bad idea. If you have kids, why would you have sex in the kitchen? Anyway, I'm getting away. But Esther sees them, and the mother comes up and starts talking to her, trying to explain to her, about it. And Esther's supposed to be like 9 years old, I think. And at one point, she's like, well, there are some things that parents do, that grown-ups do. They like to express their love. And Esther just goes, oh yeah, they fuck. And I don't know why, but when I watched it, I kind of giggled a little bit, because you didn't really expect to hear a little 9-year-old girl say that. But as the movie goes on, things begin to happen. At one point, the nun actually comes to the house to see Esther and things like that. And she knows something is wrong with Esther. She's the first person to say something is wrong with Esther. And Esther actually talks the little girl Max into helping her kill the nun. And when it does happen, it's really a violent death. She basically killed her with a hammer. This is it's a bit of a spoiler, but she basically killed her with a hammer, and that's basically just the beginning of it. And of course they find the dead body of the nun, and the mother is suspicious that it is Esther, and of course the father is completely oblivious. The father does not believe her because of all the things that the mother has done. At one point, the mother wasn't watching the little girl. This happened years before the events of the film, and she almost drowned in a pond because she was drunk. And so of course the father doesn't believe her, and the father really takes a liking to Esther, and of course that just angers the mother more. But there's other things that happens. Like at one point, the son accidentally shoots a bird with a paintball gun, and then Esther's like, well, you have to put it out of its misery, and tries to hand him a rock. He doesn't do it, so instead Esther comes in and smashes it. Rock. That's one thing I really like in the movie. The violence is really raw and it's really rough in this whole movie. There's actually some pretty decent gore in this, and the death scenes are, they're pretty violent for what it is. This is probably one of the more brutal mainstream movies that I've seen in a long time. And yeah, it's actually really good. I really don't want to go too far into the storyline, because I really want everybody to go and see this movie. If you have not seen Orphan, I cannot recommend this movie enough. This is without a doubt one of the best horror movies I've seen that has come out over the past 10 years. Like I said, this movie is amazing. Not only does it have good kills, it's really suspenseful. There's some scenes in the movie where I was literally on the edge of my seat, like just waiting to see what happened next, and that was really good and really effective. And a lot of movies don't creep me out as much, like more mainstream films. Like, I haven't been creeped out by a movie in a long time. This movie really did creep me out. I thought it was really good. A really good thriller. It's more of a thriller than... I can't talk today. More of a thriller than it is a horror movie. Thriller. Can't speak. It was more of a thriller than it was a horror movie. I don't know why I can't talk right now. But, I guess it's all the excitement about this movie. But yeah, this movie was, very suspenseful and a lot of good scenes. The deaths scenes in the movie are pretty violent when it happens, and there's so many things going on in the movie that I don't want to get into because I don't want to spoil it that much. Oh, and if you have heard about this movie, then I'm pretty sure everyone knows the twist ending. If you haven't, you will not see the twist ending coming. I, unfortunately, did see it coming because somebody ruined the ending for me. You know, of course, you know, because it took me forever to see this movie, so of course every person that talked about the movie was like, oh, did you see the ending? I didn't see it coming. And I was like, well, when I watched the movie, I did because everyone told me. So, you know, I'm not going to spoil it. For those of you who still have not seen it, I'm not going to spoil the ending. But like I said, lots of good, really suspenseful film, really good gore in this film. It's not a lot of gore. It's not like overly gory, but it's realistic gore. You know, there's a lot of good character development. You really begin to feel for the characters, and and when something happens to them, you really do it. Also, considering the fact that this movie has like I think that the young son, I forget how old the son is, but he looks about 10 or 11. When something is, you begin to fear for him because he's so young, especially and of course the daughter, you know, you begin to fear for her because she's really young as well. But there's one scene where after she kills the nun, Esther hides like the bloody hammer in the son's treehouse, and he ends up seeing her come out, and so at night Esther gets one of those box cutters and threatens the son and says, if you tell anybody, I'm going to kill you. And then she has the thing go down his body, down right here, and she has my favorite line in the whole movie. She goes, if you tell anybody, I'm going to cut off your hairless prick before you even know what it's for. And I don't know why, but I laughed at that scene because it's so messed up to say that to a little kid. But at the same time, it's funny because you wouldn't expect a little, you know, girl like that to say that. I laughed at stuff like that. Like I laughed at when Reagan said, you know, fuck me in The Exorcist. I laughed at that because it's a little girl and she's saying fuck. It's kind of funny, but it's also messed up because you wouldn't really expect it. But yeah, this movie is really, really creepy, really, really good, and I cannot recommend it to anyone. I cannot recommend it enough to anyone who has not seen this. Go check out Orphan, really great one. Check it out. Anyway, guys, that's it for my review. I know I was sort of a bit all about this movie, but, you know, I was all out in this review, but I cannot recommend this movie enough. This movie is amazing. I know I talked a lot about it, and there's so many different things I'd love to talk about in this review, but I really just want I want everybody just to go check it out. If you have not seen it, go check out Orphan. It's a great movie, you know. Probably one of the best horror movies I've seen in 10 years. Maybe 12, I don't know, however long it's been out. It's been out since 2009. Yeah, I'll say it's one of the best horror films of the 2000s. I'll say this. It probably is the best horror movie of the 2000s. I'm going to go online to say this. This is like in the top best horror films of the 2000s. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, everyone. I really appreciate it. I know I was all out with this review, but I'm half asleep right now. I'm really tired. But I just wanted to talk about this movie because it's great. So if you have not seen this, I cannot recommend Orphan enough. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I hope to see you all later. Bye.